Hi guys, my name is Ryan. This is my story about how I got a free sailboat.
What we do here is go back.
Come on! Really now? Come on! Sailboat video again? Come on!
Big dog.
We're heeled over! Woo! Wow! F***ing sailing! Heeled over, we're sailing. Man, this is the life! I'm sailing! Woohoo!
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
I wouldn't have believed you if a year ago today you told me that within the next year I would be given a sailboat for free, fix it up, and go sailing for the first time in my life. I had just come off my first year as a decent-sized powerboat owner, which to me was a big deal, having only owned a small 14-foot, 9.9 horsepower fishing boat before that. I have always been into boats in general, however, at least since the Christmas when I got my first canoe. Now, one canoe, 3 kayaks, a failed 16-foot fiberglass restoration, a successful 14-foot aluminum complete overhaul, and a fun-to-modify 18-foot fiberglass cuddy cabin, I found myself getting sucked into the concept of sailing. The more I thought about it, the more I fell in love with the idea. It made so much sense. It was obvious, yet it hardly got more than a fleeting thought in my mind. While I have always obviously drooled over large, heavily powered motorboats with accommodations that let you spend a night to a few days or even a week on board, but those would always be far out of my reach, not just because the boats themselves are expensive, but the cost to operate them are unaffordable on top of that. Let's face it, gas hasn't exactly gotten cheaper over time. But sailing! A good-sized boat only needs a small motor and hardly has to use it, and its main source of power is wind, and wind is free. And I like free, and I like boats, and I like the idea of being able to stay on a boat over an extended period of time. Dude, sailboats! Sailboats are where it's at. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing like having a 150 horsepower V6 grumbling behind you as you stalk through the water, waiting for the right moment to open the throttle all the way, letting her swallow every ounce of oxygen you can feed her, screaming along and skipping across the surface of the water like a flat stone. If motorboats are the hot chick you lusted for back in high school, sailboats are the girl you first fell in love with. Even when others might not see it, she is beautiful and graceful, from bow to stern and keel to the head of the mast. There is something about the lines on a sailboat that makes your heart skip a beat. Seeing sails full of wind fills your heart with emotion, and all the lines and rigging are like a beautiful maze begging to be explored. And even the winches. Seeing a pair of winches is like seeing a pair of... Alright, let's just leave it at that. So now I have this itch I can't seem to scratch. I find myself digging through the internet to feed my craving for sailboats. One place I dabbled was the local Craigslist listings, and that's where I found Freestyle. On April 12th, 2017, I became a sailboat owner, and all it cost me was $150 for a pair of new trailer tires to haul her home. And that's when our YouTube channel was born. I started documenting everything I did and experienced as a new sailboat owner, figuring I could produce some entertaining content that would tell our story for anyone who was interested, and in return earn a little money from advertisers, which I could then use to fund all the necessary projects she would require to be reintroduced to the water again for the first time in 15 years. So it began with episode 1 on how I came to get a sailboat for free. People actually watched it. I was a little surprised and it was a little surreal, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure what to expect. But sure enough, people watched my little video, and some of them even started subscribing. In the next video, I started to clean her up and go through the boat and see what kind of repairs were needed. With the boat getting cleaner by the day and a good idea of what kind of repairs were needed, I decided to take the next step and get the boat some registration numbers and legally put my name. After a few hiccups in the city of Springfield, Massachusetts, Freestyle was legally my boat with their own numbers. A short while after that, the new centerboard I had ordered arrived and we got going on getting that installed. When done, it was a good feeling knowing that all the parts and pieces that were needed to sail this boat were all there. Episode 5 will probably go down as the ugliest fiberglass work in YouTube history. I always said that my channel was not a how-to channel. It's just my story and the story of the boat. Things unfolded as they did, and I documented all of it. I hardly had any experience doing any kind of work like this, and it showed. I wasn't happy with how the project looked at the end, but it did the job, at least for a little while. On Memorial Day 2017, I thought it would be a cool idea to make a video showing the mast getting raised. I had only raised it once before, and I was really looking forward to getting it up again to see her all rigged up. The weather wasn't exactly cooperating with my plans, but I made the video anyway. I had also really wanted to start getting footage with my DSLR camera and change my approach to making these videos. I wanted the pictures to start telling more of the story themselves, as opposed to the, hello, this is me doing this, and this is me doing that, and now I'm picking my nose, blah 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 blah. We were still a ways off from getting in the water, however, because I had yet to test out the boat's sailboat ballast system. The McGregor sailboats use a water ballast instead of a traditional weighted ballast, which drastically reduces the weight of the boat when out of the water and on a trailer. This is achieved by having a large water tank at the lowest part of the boat that runs almost the entire length. A valve that resides underneath the boat can be opened and closed from the cabin, letting the water tank fill up once it's launched. To test the integrity of the tank, I closed the valve and filled the tank with water from the access point inside the cabin. Once full, I soon discovered another major problem. A massive crack in the tank under the V-berth. Looks like I'm going to have another fiberglass repair in my hands. While I was gathering everything I needed to repair the tank, I took the opportunity to disassemble everything else in the boat. Much of it was trash anyways, and the pieces that were still good would need to be either cleaned up or refinished. It also served as an opportunity to give me a blank canvas to look at. I want to make this boat my own, and it's nice to start from the ground up. When it came time to repair the ballast tank, I had a little more confidence with the fiberglassing process. I was very pleased with the way the repair came out. However, when running through a second test, my joy soon became confusion as I heard a hissing coming from under the galley. It turned out there was another breach in the tank. This one, however, was much smaller, and I was able to repair that crack in the same afternoon. With now 2 cracks patched up, I filled the tank once more and saw no more water in the bilge, and I heard no more hissing. The next test for the ballast system would be putting it in the lake. After 9 episodes and lots of views and comments and likes and subscribers, and even a few patrons, I actually had enough income from the channel to purchase a new through-hull fitting for the raw water intake. I wanted to reserve the option of using raw water for something as opposed to just sealing up the hull permanently. But I wanted a fixture that I was 100% confident in. The end result was perfect and rock solid. I also took the time to rebed the through hull in the lazarette that at some point would house a depth sounder and knot meter. In the meantime, the plug that came with the boat held out water just fine after replacing and relubricating the rubber O-rings. In July, my family and I went on vacation to Cape Cod for a few weeks, and while I was out there, I wanted to find a small outboard motor for the sailboat. I learned earlier in the year that a long shaft was necessary for sailboats, but that they were incredibly hard to find and more expensive the further inland you go. I I ended up working out a deal with someone for an extra long shaft, 7.5 horsepower in great condition for only a few $100. Back home, that same motor could have gone for close to $800. Once we got home, I serviced the motor with a few hiccups along the way. We were getting closer now to being able to get the boat in the water for the first time, but we still needed to check out the sails. So on a day with no wind, we put the sails up and looked them over. The mainsail was still in really good condition and only needed a few minor things. The jib, on the other hand, had rips and weak spots the entire length of the leech. I repaired them both the best I could, as buying new sails was way out of my budget at this point. With the sails as best I could get them for the time being, I wanted to come up with a better way to step the mast. While it was possible to do it with brute strength, it wasn't exactly comfortable, and I knew a better option existed. The newer McGregors came with a mast raising system using a gin pole and a purchase system. So I set off to mimic that system the best I could with the things I had lying around in the garage. After a few small failures, I finally had something that worked to my satisfaction and made raising and lowering the mast much easier. Now there were only a few small things between us and the water. I crossed each one off the list, one by one, and before you know it, we were ready to launch freestyle for the first time in 15 years. The next video, I think I'll just let speak for itself. If you hadn't seen it yet, then make sure you do. I'll probably remember this day for the rest of my life. Not because something crazy happened. It was actually a pretty calm, relaxing day. But there's just no way to describe the feeling I had when the sails went up and filled with air for the first time. The motor was in neutral, but we were moving. Then, the moment of truth was when I shut the motor off completely and removed any hesitation I had about what was propelling the boat. I was sailing. From a dream to a reality, from not having ever owned a sailboat to sailing for the first time, all within a few short months. I couldn't believe it. I was sailing. Literally a dream come true. We spent the day on this little lake tacking back and forth and just had a great time. I even went back out the very next day with my wife to get some drone footage to add to the video, and we spent most of the time just enjoying the day, and I never got much other video footage. I think I owed it to myself, though, to have a day on the boat that was just for us. At this point, the season was getting late and temperatures started dropping. I wasn't able to get back out in the water, but managed to get a few more projects done before winter officially arrived. I completely tore apart the repair of the cockpit compartment. Now that I had some more fiberglass experience, I approached the problem from a different angle and ended up with something much better. I also was able to get new deck hardware installed that I had wanted so badly. At the end of that project, freestyle was really starting to look like a legit sailboat. But winter was approaching fast, and I had to finish things up quick and get her ready for hibernation. Winters can be harsh in New England, and I wanted to make sure she was as protected as I could get her. I also took an opportunity to winterize the outboard to make starting it back up in the spring go much easier. And now, with the motor put in storage and the boat wrapped up snug as a bug, Sailing Freestyle Season 1 has officially come to an end.
Oh boy, it's cold out. Yeah, it's gonna be like negative 10 degrees tomorrow, and I think it's getting pretty close to 0 right now today. But yeah, sorry that took so long, guys. I wanted that done by like New Year's Eve, but unfortunately, I'm just trying to migrate different editing software in the videos, and that was a big pain in the ass. And then I got really sick, and then well, Christmas and New Year's, that all happened, and I was working a lot. And well, basically I just didn't have enough time to get everything done, but I finally finished, not too bad. So that was the recap of the first season of the YouTube channel and my first year of being a sailor. So what'd you guys think? What'd you think of season 1? I had a freaking blast, man. I tell you, if you told me, 1 year ago today that, that would be my 2017, I'm not sure I would believe you. But could not be happier. And I couldn't have done it without you guys. I mean, like I said in the little recap video there, when I put that first episode out and people started subscribing, and I just couldn't believe it. Even still, like every time one of you guys subscribes, I get an email, and even still I see all these emails popping up in my inbox saying such and such has subscribed, and I just can't believe it. I can't believe all the support I'm getting. I can't believe how many of you people are watching the videos, and it really means the world to me, and it really motivates me, because now I feel like anything is really possible. I'm already talking to my wife and getting her convinced about, possibly maybe getting a bigger boat in the future. I don't know. I'm just saying that could be where all this ends up at some point. But for now, let's stay focused. I don't know if you can see it, but Freestyle is she's right there under the blue tarp. Where's the blue tarp? It's hard to point backwards. Anyways, yeah. So we're gonna take this package over to the post office, drop it off, and get Wayne his new ambient weather station. So hope you enjoy that, Wayne. Thank you very much for your support. And with that being said, all you other people out there who have not checked out Patreon yet, and you want to become a patron, you want to help support the channel, and grow the channel and make this possible, keep the videos churning out, go to Patreon. Check that out. Become a patron, because that really drives everything. And it helps me do cool little giveaways like this, where Wayne ended up with a cool new weather station. If you don't want to do the Patreon thing, you just want to make a one-time donation, just click on the link below via PayPal. You can just do a one-time donation for any amount you want, even one singular dollar. Makes all the difference. So once again, guys, thank you very much for all your support throughout the year. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for liking, thanks for sharing, and all that good stuff. And now that it is officially 2018, that means season 2 is about to start. And I got back in the house there, there is a giant box of electrical components. That is going to be the kickoff to season 2, is doing all the electrical work. I'm gonna, maybe not tomorrow when it's -10, but at some point I'm gonna crawl out there, throw a space heater in the boat, and we're gonna start wiring things and getting the electrical work done, so we can have light and things like that. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, season 1 is officially a wrap now. Thank you. I can't say it enough. Thank you. 2017 season is over. Bye.